Good morning, my friends. Good morning. So she obviously didn't read that email, or he didn't pay on time, and he knows tuition's due on the first. And I've sent so many reminders. Oh my goodness, they made the hugest mess in the lobby, and they didn't even bother to apologize. They just got up and left. When boundaries are crossed, we are often quick to react in a defensive way, and we point fingers at the wrongdoers. And it's easy, and truthfully, let's face it, it's natural to jump into the blame game. When something goes wrong inside your business, blaming someone, y'all, it doesn't fix the situation. And the truth is, it just adds fuel to the fire. Getting stuck in the blame game, it leads to resentment and anger that can seriously sabotage your business relationships. But what if you could stop the cycle of the resentment and the anger and the assumptions? What if we could stop the blame game and we can actually have difficult conversations that have a productive outcome? Today, I've got 3 tips for you that will help you reduce your stress, diffuse the blame game, and be more productive in your studio. Now, yes, this takes practice. Yes, it is worth it. I promise, y'all. I promise. And so, y'all, if you are new here, I am Erin Bird, and I support dance studio owners and educators who want to grow their businesses by creating their own unique vision of success without the burnout, the overwhelm, or sacrificing their personal lives. And we love to learn out loud here. And so when something resonates with you, and you have that light bulb moment or something that just hits you right at home, I want you to share with us in the comments. I want you to do a hashtag takeaway. I want you to let us know below when you have those moments. And so if you're joining me, say, hey, Erin, what's up? Let me know that you're here. I always want to know who I'm here with when we're having these conversations. If you also know a studio owner who or teacher or educator who could really use to hear today's chat, I want you to feel free to just sprinkle the love around. It truly is the best gift that you can give, not only to your friends in the industry, but to me. So then that way we can make sure that everybody's on the same page. Because here's the deal, y'all. How many times have we seen or heard, like, why don't these parents read? Like, they would know all the information if they would just read the newsletter, or if they would just read that email I sent out, or if they just look at the posts that I put in Band or on Facebook or whatever it might be. How many times have we said that ourselves? And or you've seen others, right, saying like, I don't understand what I need to do to make these people, these parents, read the information that I sent out. And so this topic right here is one that I really want us to talk about today, because I think sometimes that we forget to step outside and look at it from a different view. And it's really easy for us to blame our parents, our students, our clients, when they do something because of what we think they should know. And the truth of the matter is, it's really easy to blame and take the burden off of us. But sometimes if we take a pause and we look from the outside, looking in, we might find out that, one, it isn't productive to blame anyone. It really isn't. And but we have to take a look and be objective about what is actually going on. And so I want to dive into these three things today because I am hearing quite frequently the whole blame game happening about, like, these parents never read these communication, right? And today I'm going to challenge you a little bit, and I want you to really hopefully lean into coming from an objective place, because if we get stuck in this blame game, you will get stuck in this cycle, and it's actually one that is absolutely not productive. It keeps you stuck in the same spot, and quite truthfully, it allows you to feel like the victim when really most of the time there's no victim at all. And so as we're going through, if something's resonating with you, of course, I want you to do your hashtag takeaway, and let us know in the comments below what little nuggets you've taken away. And I think, I'll probably be changing this into a little blog post. So if you want to get your hands on this as well, drop below a blame below, and we will make sure to get you a copy of the show notes and what we turn into that blog post. So if you're joining me, even if it's on the replay, I want to know, because it lets me know, and we can come back in and we can have a conversation about this topic. So let's go ahead and dive right in to the 3 steps for you to kick the blame game to the curb. So the first step is that we have to reduce your stress. And now I want you to think about, you have a parent who emails you, texts you, right? Sends you a message, and we start automatically having the stress about maybe a confrontation, because first of all, the truth is none of us want to, like, be confrontational. None of us want to feel the stress and the anxiety of someone who's either unhappy, and we start to either blame them for, well, if they would have read that, they would have already known that, or if they would have read the policies, they would have known, and we wouldn't be having this conversation, right? But the first thing that I want you to do to reduce your stress is to actually take a pause. Take a pause, take a moment. Remember, you do not have to answer this person immediately. And I think this gets lost so many times for us because we live in the age of, like, that notification comes up and we feel compelled to, answer right away. But there is clarity that comes in the pause. And we don't have to respond right away. When we do this, we allow for ourselves to take a moment and to sit in what it is that's really going on. We reduce our own stress by being able to look objectively and say, okay, well, here's the situation. How did I show up in this? How did they show up in this? And it allows you to give yourself a moment to reduce that stress, reduce that anxiety by getting some clarity around the situation. And I can tell you that even for myself, there's been so many times where I've forgotten this and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to deal with this parent. I am going to have to, she's doing XYZ, and I don't even want to deal with it, right? But I feel compelled because I feel like it's my duty, it's my obligation to answer her and address her concerns right away. But the truth of the matter is that I don't. You don't have to respond right away. Give yourself a few moments. Give yourself 5 hours, 10 hours, right? Whatever feels necessary to give yourself a small pause, get clarity around the situation, reduce your stress before we move into the next step. And the next step for today to stopping the blame game is to diffuse the situation. So you've had that parent call you, text you, whatnot. And what I want you to know is that there are always two sides to a story. There's your side and what you think maybe is true. Maybe it's a story that you've created yourself to take the blame away from yourself, to take the wrongdoing away from yourself, to make you feel better. But in this step, we have to assume that we do not know things, right? So we're not making assumptions about what the other person is thinking, feeling, saying, doing, right? We're not making assumptions about that because there's always two sides to the story. And I want to share with you, y'all, real quick, that as we're talking about, I just want to pause for a moment and talk real quick about this whole communications thing, because I'm seeing it coming up over and over and over again about how, we can't get parents to read things. And, I'm doing it all for naught, and I'm saying the same things over and over and over again. And I feel like a broken radio. And right. Okay. So can I just share with y'all? I'm a mama. I am a multi-business owner. I am busy. I juggle things pretty well, but I'm not perfect, contrary to popular belief. But seriously, I'm not perfect. And the other day I received an email that was like, well, per the previous email, if you would have read, and you know what? It kind of made me angry. And I want to tell you this, coming from, as a mama and a business owner, and someone who has to send out lots of information to lots of different people, that yes, whilst it was true, in the previous email, it did tell me X, Y, and Z. I'm not perfect. And I had really good intentions about going back and reading that attachment that was sent in the email. But I got busy. I had a million different things coming at me. And I didn't get back to it. Unfortunately. Right? And that phrase, per the previous email, that is not productive. Does it make you feel right? Because you're saying, well, I already gave you that information if you would have paid attention. It might. But it is not productive in that you are not connecting with your families and being supportive and empathetic. And the truth of the matter is that too many times in our monthly newsletters or in our email communications, we are so quick to rinse and repeat and or copy that honestly it gets monotonous for a parent to read. There's no incentive for a parent to read it when it seems like every single month it's the same exact thing written over and over again, right? And so you're like, what's the point? There's no incentive to read this. I already know what's going on. I already know tuition's due on the 1st. I already know that, it's late after the 5th. I already know that they need to come in their shoes. I already know, like, as a parent, what are you doing to excite and engage them and compel them to read your communication? And the other thing is, you guys, if you are doing this, I know I'm getting off on a little bit of a tangent here, but if you are sending out emails with all the information when it comes to recital or whatever, it's too much. It's like verbal diarrhea, basically. And they don't want to consume it. It's too much. They cannot retain all the information. You guys need to understand that we have shifted in society, and we only will grab bite-sized bits of information, morsels of information that we can digest. If you're expecting us to eat the whole buffet right now, we're gonna get sick. So why not give us little bite-sized pieces that we can digest and retain, instead of banging your head up against the wall and putting out all the information in one email, and then people saying they didn't get, or they don't understand, or they didn't know. It was because you gave them too much all at once. So sorry to go on the tangent, but it's something that I felt like we absolutely needed to hear today. Okay, so going back to diffusing the situation. One of my favorite questions to ask when we have that kind of confrontation, or we have that parent who's upset, right, is how can I best help you in this particular situation? That is one of the best questions that you can ask to help diffuse a situation. And I ask myself, well, what would my ideal outcome be in this situation? And when we pair those two, when we're asking our clients, our parents, our students, when we're asking them, how can I best help you in this situation? And we pair that with, what would I like my ideal outcome to be? That is where magic can happen, because we set aside the assumptions, the story that we feel is true, and we're open to listening and to coming to step 3, which is to find a productive outcome. And you guys, I want you to lean in and hear me on this. If we are coming from a reactive place, right? When we rush to answer these people back, right? When we're coming from a reactive place, instead of pausing, what happens is we normally will push aside, like, our values and our boundaries and our things that we've set in place to serve our business, to make sure that we're in alignment with our values. And the outcome that we give probably is in alignment with that. We're going to either give too much, we're going to do things like we're going to go against our best judgment. Too many times do I hear where a studio owner will say, well, in this instant, I went ahead and I did this, and I kind of pushed our normal policy to the side, and it kicked me in the behind, right? Because productive outcomes should benefit both sides. Boundaries are set for a reason. And if you blur the lines on the boundaries because you're so reactive to try to answer and fix the problem because you don't want to be in conflict, you're basically prolonging the inevitable, and you're actually making it worse and creating more resentment. So I want you guys to remember that a productive outcome means that it benefits both sides. It benefits you and it benefits the family. And here's the deal. This could be even applied if you are firing a family, if you're letting go of a staff member. You guys, these 3 steps can be so beneficial for you, even when things might not have maybe a happy ending, right? And so we have to come from a place and knowing that a productive outcome means both sides benefit. That both sides benefit. And so today, some drink. My hope for you today is that we're going to talk about kicking the blame game to the curb. It serves nobody. It's really the least productive thing. And so with these 3 tips, hopefully it will help you recenter, get clarity around it, and really see that pointing the fingers, it serves nobody well. And so the first step to kicking the blame game to the curb is to reduce your stress. And this one could probably be the hardest one because we forget that to take a pause. We're so reactive in responding that we lose sight and we lose the clarity that's needed for us to not point fingers because we're so stressed about the situation at hand. And the second step is then to diffuse the situation. And remember that there's always 2 sides to the story. And if we can use my 2 favorite phrases, number 1 is to my client is to, how can I best help you in this situation right now? And then I pair that with a question to myself. And the question to myself is, what would my ideal outcome be? And when I pair those 2 together, then we can really start to diffuse the situation, realize there's always 2 sides to the story, and not assume anything. And then the third step is we have to find a productive outcome. And the key to this, y'all, the key is to realize that a productive outcome means that it's good for both sides. It's good for both sides. And if we try to solve the problem from a reactive place, most of the time our values and our boundaries, they get pushed. They're out of alignment. And really, we're prolonging the inevitable where we've created now resentment and anger surrounding this decision that we made because it wasn't in alignment with our values in the first place. So if we can lean into the idea that a productive outcome benefits both sides, then we can really lean into stopping the blame game, stop pointing fingers, looking from an outward place, and really realizing that when we're trying to communicate with our families, we have to take a stance in what's in it for them. And how do I make this fun, engaging? How do I entice them to read the information, right? And how does my message not get lost in the million different bits of information that are being thrown at a parent any given day? Because as much as we'd like to believe it, we are not everything does not revolve around us. Right? We need to give our families some grace, and we need to really take a look and objectively say, what could we do better to communicate with our parents? And If they miss an email, give them some grace. Give them some grace. As much as we all would like to be perfect, and all of us mamas think that we're Wonder Woman, we are. But even then, we have to realize that we have so much information thrown at us every single day that if something slips under the radar, let's take a moment to reduce our stress, diffuse the situation, even with ourselves, and find a productive outcome. And so typically pointing fingers in the blame game, it doesn't create a productive outcome. And so, y'all, I hope that today gave you a few moments of looking at things with a different lens and really looking at how we can stop the blame game because it's not productive inside of our businesses. And if you're just joining us, that's okay. I'm Erin Bird. I'm your dance studio strategist. And I'm working with studio owners and educators just like you to grow your businesses, to shift your mindsets, all without the overwhelm, the burnout, the stress, the anxiety, or sacrificing your personal lives. And I come here every single Wednesday for us to dive into these topics and really start to really dive into these conversations around mindset and business strategies and growing and how we can lean into being the best versions of ourselves. And so today we talked about the blame game. And next week we have some more magic lined up for you on the next episode of the Erin Bird Live Show. And until then, I hope that you stay you. I hope that you stay awesome. And I hope that you create a little magic this week in your business. So I'm going to leave you there. Have a fantastic day, friends. And I will see you next Wednesday, same time, same place, for another episode of the Erin Bird Live Show. Bye, my